Hello, welcome. Today I'm playing MineColonies, where I'm going to colonize and seize every piece of land there is. I'll even go ahead and colonize all the other dimensions as well. I mean, that's the whole point of the mod pack anyway. Loading in, I'm giving up a whole hotbar full of tutorial books. I don't need all that. Check out this bird. I thought it was going to be friendly, but I guess not. At least they dropped some meat for me to eat. So I looked around to see how my spawn point was looking. It's an island. I'm on this secluded island, in fact. That was fine. I didn't really mind that I was gonna be on an island. Probably was even like a blessing that I was on this island, because it was pretty much leveled out for me to place down buildings for my colony. I needed to claim this land though, so I made a town hall block, which will allow me to start building the cool stuff for my village. I just needed to find a place to put it. Before I did that, I beat up this goblin who was just chilling until I went up to him to maul him to death. Then I actually placed down the town hall, and I didn't want it to be in the dead center of the island. I also didn't want it to be on top of the stone area that was there, because I was thinking of putting a mining facility over there. You know, I gotta plan this before actually doing it. As for the style of the building I wanted, I picked up the original MineColonies pack just because the resources around the island wouldn't allow me to do anything more than just plain oak buildings. But I finally placed it down. I think I set it up nicely. The only downside is that there's just a random ditch, but you know, there's nothing a builder can't patch up. And that's what I needed next, a builder. With a town hall, I'm able to get settlers to come to my village to start becoming full-fledged citizens. But I won't let them do that so easily, because guess what? They can't be citizens here unless they work. Before I got ahead of myself, I needed to set up a name for my village. ChesLynn's colony? Nah. The Great Land of Baddies is a great name for a great empire. In fact, we were gonna rule the world with this name. By the time I was done figuring out a name for my colony, it was now turning dark, and my villagers were going to start coming in, which was a tad bit poorly timed by me. But essentially my goals for each night were: 1, I'm going to survive, and 2, I cannot let a villager die to a zombie, creeper, anything that wants to come after them for some reason. If these villagers die, who knows what the colony's reputation will look like, and I was going to let that propaganda spill out. I accomplished my second goal pretty well, but my first goal, not so much. It was also an issue of not having any food on the island other than the weird chickens. Otherwise, there were no regular chickens, no sheep, nothing. I was just on pure Survivor TV type thing. While it was nighttime, I had to take advantage and start planning out the builder's hut. But doing so was just a terrible time. Why do these zombies flip out like that? It's like a freaking cartoon, bruh. I'm pretty sure that it's the physics mod at work here. There we go. There's the builder's hut, which is close to the town hall, so it's pretty much accessible to each part of the claimed land, meaning that the builder won't have to walk so much, I hope. The worker or the builder is automatic. It's Lillian Colkins. It's fine that it's automatically assigned, because it doesn't really matter at this moment, but later on that will change. Oh wow, how I did not miss this part of MineColonies. Off to the races with these materials. Collecting materials is always the most devastatingly long process in MineColonies. It's actually awful until you get your villagers to start doing the work for you, which I can't do yet because I don't have the correct buildings to assign them to. But with me being smart and thinking ahead, I chose arguably the easiest village style, so this wasn't going to be too hard. I did what I could for this day until night fell once again. This night wasn't so pretty, much like the other ones, but this one was worse. Remember those goals I was trying to keep in touch with? Yeah, I failed both of them. I was just trying to keep getting material for the builder's hut, but that meant keeping an eye off of the villagers. That was my mistake. I know I could have had mercenaries to keep the village safe, but they steal materials, and half of the time they don't even do their protection job right. They're assholes. Anyway, rest in peace Santana B. Perichirla. You will be missed. I had to remove the grave just in case any villagers didn't want to see a fellow villager dead right beside them. The sun began to rise, and I survived yet another night with only one dead villager to my village, which is honestly better than I would have hoped for. I also had everything I needed for the builder's hut, which meant that Lillian could start putting in the work. I'm not gonna lie, this builder's hut kinda sucks. I thought it was gonna look a little better, like a house or something, but I guess not. It's not with this style. This style has other plans. Well, at least now I have a proper building hut, which will lead this village into its next step of phase 1. Did I mention what phase we're on, by the way? I just made it up right now. Actually, we're on phase 1, creating a baseline for the village. Essentially, I'm trying to make the village livable, which means building residential spaces, having a proper defense system, and a proper education system to start getting more jobs for the people. The current step is to build housing. I don't need much housing, I just needed enough so that the villagers who work here are happy. So I started to plan out where to put the housing. But then I got sidetracked because it was already nighttime again. At least this one was eventful, because I kept being told that these random bosses were spawning in. I found one of them at the corner of my colony's borders, and I had to teach it a lesson. It taught me a lesson. That lesson was to keep going because wherever this boss was, it sucked. After killing it, I got nothing but leggings. Man, what a bunch of... Sorry about that. Where was I? So I kind of wanted to see what was nearby this island. This island wasn't as secluded as I thought it was. There was bigger land, just a small swim across. Oh yeah, I tamed this dog thing. It's called a Koma Inu. But I got him because I thought he was cool, and I had bones to spare, so I gave it to them. They're gonna be the village mascot. So I explored a little bit because I didn't want to get too far from the village. There's a sign and everything telling me to go 900 blocks out. I wasn't going to do all that. I ventured a little bit on this land and killed some sheep for their wool. Thank goodness these sheep were here, by the way. I can now finally skip the horrible nights and not have to worry about my villagers ever dying again. On the way back, I made a collection of the Koma Inu. I have 3 of them of different colors. that's cool. Hey, yo, what's this zombie doing in front of my dogs? There wasn't too much difficulty in the materials to get, other than the single iron ingot that I needed to make an architect's cutter thingamabob, just so I could make slim planks. Other than that, it was all good, nothing too straining. I gave all these things to my most trustworthy villager, and she went straight to work. It took 2 days to complete, and it was looking pretty cool. The windows were a little bit weird, but hey, I wasn't the one living in it. I assigned my builder to this house because, as per policy, as long as you work in the Great Land of Baddies, you can have a house to stay in. As a token of gratitude, I gave her an apple as a treat. After that first house was done, I started thinking about this plan over again. If I were to do this like 3 more times, I would actually just... Okay, that's a little overdramatic, but I needed a better way to keep these villagers in check. I was going to move this part of the phase to something that can be done later down the line when I have more hands on deck. There was also a different and much more cost-effective building that could do the same thing as a residence, but better. I'm talking about the tavern. Now, the tavern can hold up to 4 villagers and can take in any settlers who drop by. It's the perfect thing to build while I don't have the resources to build a whole ton of houses. So I planted the tavern down, and I also placed a forester's hut. The forester's hut will help with the wood gathering, so I don't have to do any of that. We're starting to get some automation here. Plus, it's also just a essential building tool for all of the village's buildings moving forward. So it's good that we have it. Is my good old builder building that? I hired the strongest villager I had at the moment for this job. They don't have a house, but they'll work for it surely. While that was building up, some of my Komainu died to those chicken things because I did not know they were gonna get attacked by them, and they were sat down so they couldn't even defend themselves. It was tragic, really. Only one of them survived. Alrighty, so here's the current layout of the Great Land of Baddies. So we got the town hall, which will probably be built after the tavern. Then we have the builder's hut, which is right by the town hall and is accessible to each corner of the village's borders. I might make another one soon so I can make 2 buildings at the same time. And then the residential area, which is just 1 house at the moment, but it'll grow as the town grows. Lastly, I had the recently installed forester's hut. And then there's the tavern, ready to be built on the next episode. And that pretty much wraps up everything I've done so far. I'm happy with the progress I've made. Thanks for watching this video. If you like content like this and would like to see more like it, then consider subscribing.